Let's poke around a little bit of this Xul rework business before today's Into the Nexus podcast. So Xul got a big old surprise rework in this week's patch with a health increase, basic attack reduction, spectral scythe reduction, but you now get skeletal warriors for hitting a spectral scythe. Bone prison now causes all nearby skeletons to focus the target after rooting, but this is not like a charge. This is just the skeletons wander over, if in range, to hit that hero. And Ray's skeleton is worked around to basically make room for them to explode and deal 50 damage when they die. But the kind of rough thing about this, and as you'll hear on Reddit and other places, is that they are exploding twice on heroes. So actually, when we make some normal skeletons here in lane, we do have that maximum of 3 that we can create at a time. And as they walk, and I mean, the duration's fine. Look at them go. They're losing health as they walk, as they explode. Now we're actually seeing some spell damage there. But they are exploding on these heroes twice. So, they're cool. I mean, that problem aside, like, it is sad that this is currently bugged on release because he's looking really awesome. And if they fix this tomorrow or next week, then let's just move on and talk about what's cool about him. But as you can see here on these target dummies, bam, bam, 252s on each of those heroes. Which means he's really powerful in lane right now. Even as a solo laner, not even doing double so kind of crazy Blackheart's Bay business of the past. Like, he is just winning versus melee solo laners. I think all the blue build business is still there. If you want to do the Grim Scythe stuff, go into Harvest Vitality, you know, the blue build as you used to. Shackler, and just pick all the blue talents. That's why it's called the blue build. Gaining attack speed. It's very powerful when the enemies are stacking up, and you're going to have a wonderful time of it. Xul is still weak to everything that he used to be, which is range. So if you have to solo lane against a Zagara, if you have to solo lane versus a Rainer, you're going to have a bad time because you won't get in Bone Prison range versus those heroes. Look at that tiny little range there. So Xul is still countered by the old things he was countered by, and we're all going to have to make very quick adjustments to make sure we aren't taking those Ragnaroses and Skeleton Kings into Xul, because you're going to have a really bad time while this bug exists. So that's the first big advice here is be aware that he is bugged with the double explosion on these skeletons. Take a ranged hero against him. You're going to do great. You're going to do fine. And of course, spread out in those late game team fights. Because otherwise, with the blue build, things are going to look a little bit like this. When you get in there, and he's going to start just going and going and going and going and going and going, and then he's going to go and go and go because he reduces that cooldown. Like, let's lose some health here and just see how invincible this guy is. If you've never seen the blue build before, it is still intact, and you're still going to have a great time with it. I really like it, and it's a great kind of off-tank build to do as well. I mean, just look at that. Look at that go. Good times. Good times ahead. Just gotta fix a bug. But let's see what else is on this thing. I really, really like that they, remove the Reaper's Toll quest here, so there is a nice little scythe build going on. I just love Shackler in terms that you reduce this cooldown when you're auto-attacking things in range. And if you have like an Arthas on the team too, like you're just gonna have a good time. Plus, it works on your root targets, so you're just gonna reduce that cooldown more with every auto-attack. Shackler is still really cool. Backlash, of course, versus things like Diablo, maybe Asmodan, but certainly Cho'Gall is one of the big ones there, and Shade still gives you that basic attack evasion you might want. But Reaper's Toll just not being a quest anymore is really nice. For the sake of fun, Jailers is really cool right now. Bone Prison spawns 2 Skeletal Warriors. These do not count towards Xul's Raise Skeleton maximum. Quests spawn 80 Skeletal Warriors. While fixating on enemies, Skeletal Warriors have 40% movement speed and attack speed. So this makes sure that those Skeletal Warriors actually get over to the target. I think that Grim Scythe is a very powerful part of your blue build, and making sure you can weather the storm and attack those grouped up enemy teams. I mean, think if they have like a Rhaegar, Greymane, and Diablo all in one. That's 3 targets. You're going to have a great time just like we did on these minions here. These target dummies. But this is, I mean, for the solo lane's sake, one, it's just thematically fun to have skeletons pop up and you get a little ding action. But 2, these guys are going to die. They're fixating, and it's going to do massive damage when they explode, particularly with that bug going on. That does make Xul's Essence a lot more fun, too, because with Scythe and Jailers, you are now going to spawn actual usable skeletons outside of lane. So imagine you're on Towers of Doom and you're hitting a Li Ming. Like, one, you might get a skeleton that's actually going to spawn and absorb an orb that would be flying at your face. But 2, you're gonna get some, you're gonna get some health back, some mana back. It's a lot of fun. Wall of Bones, though, particularly stacked with Shackler, increase the shield amount of bone armor to 35% of max health and gain 20 spell armor. Spell armor, I mean, outside of those, like, your soloing versus Raynor situations, spell armor is what's going to really affect you when you're being poked at a distance. And I think this Wall of Bones is just really, really fun. Again, it's hard to get away from the blue build just because it services Xul as a bruiser, as a off-tank, which makes the fact that he has a good root and has to chase that character for that root work all the better. But man, Wall of Bones, really, really cool. I like that they increased the damage of Poison Nova. And they got rid of Executioner, but, Executioner always just kind of competed with your blue build in the first place. Amplified damage is now kind of cute in that it actually kind of, they changed it so that increases the root duration. Armor loss now matches the root duration. So I like that. It's a nice fix. Echoes of Death, of course, if you were going to be just like scrambling in the late game for something like Mortal Wounds. It has good lane clear too, and I mean that's gonna be a lot of skeletons. And I've heard there's a bug with these guys. Yeah, so supposedly here in the text, these skeletons do not count towards Xul's raised skeleton maximum. And we have 4 here, but as you saw when we did so many sites at once, some of them started instantly exploding as though we had too many skeletons. So there's some sort of numbers bug going on here too when it comes to the spectral scythe. But hey, I mean the skeletons are instantly exploding because you hit people with awesome scythes. That's just more damage right now. So are you really upset about that? It's still a bug, so it's worth being aware of. Bone Spear, still a great way to poke. Weaken, I think, just got moved around. Let's see. So Corpse Explosion was removed because it's now baseline, which is awesome. Decrepify, enemy heroes with Spectral Scythe are slowed by 40%. That's kind of cute. Oh yeah, and Weakened here, enemy heroes who are damaged by Cursed Strikes or Skeletal Warriors deal 40% less damage for 3 seconds. I think that's pretty cool. Do we have another version of that in here? No, so it looks like that's your big damage decrease. Well, it'd work. It'd certainly work with the blue build. All these are kind of neat. I really like how situational this 16 has become. There's also some really cool random stuff here at level 20. The Visage is now poison damage. A great reference to Diablo 2. Heals for 50% of the damage, but I believe they added in this duration increase. So you can just kind of boom it out, and it'll keep going. I mean, how long is that? Over 15 seconds? So 30 seconds of poison damage. Oh my goodness. Let's cheat a little bit and get the Lost Vikings out here. Let's see how much health they have. But 30 seconds, I mean, that's just fun. In case you can't tell, I'm pretty excited to just have another solo laner that I'm really passionate about. Now, here we have Skeletal Warriors exploding on the Lost Vikings in lane for damage. They're popping a shield there. The thing is still going, though. That is awesome. Working on those buildings, too. Making them look all stinky. I mean, that's just fun. if you go Poison Nova, if you're in a game where that is good for you because you're in the middle of the business, I still personally really like the stack of getting more shields with Shackler. You need slows and auto attacks to do so, so summon 4 Frost Mages. And, I mean, that kind of means that you get to do that really cool new 20. Let's get rid of the noise of the Lost Vikings here and reset our talents. But if you're just doing full blue build, you got your Skeletal Mages who did not change. They're still on that radial target, so you can put them out. If you are completely new to Xul, you do need to be aware that these things, there's 4 of them, and they're handsome little critters. They look great. Having lamps on the back of their heads is kind of weird, but it's a good look. You do need to be aware that these things can be canceled out by terrain. So if you are, being aggressive, you're on Braxis and you're trying to put up a good scenario, this is just going to give you maybe even 1 here. Yeah. So you do need to be aware if you're going for a sweet blockage, terrain is just going to cause you to not get a Skeletal Mage at all. And you don't want that, because you want your Skeletal Mages, because they're good. But let's take a look at the other level 20s. So Cold Hand of Death increased the slow by 20%, which would be a 50% slow. That's pretty cool. Every 5th Spectral Sight that hits an enemy hero spawns a Frost Mage instead of a Skeletal Warrior at their location. I wasn't aware of the 5th part of this, but does that mean that should be 3 hits, right? Yeah, okay, so it's cumulative. Which, actually, can we do... You're not losing too much by maybe going... no, it's at 13, isn't it? So, we're gonna lose... Rapid Harvest. That's a bit of a blow. But, can we instantly get a Skeletal Mage with that? Here's a... So 40%, well, we don't need a 40% slow because our Skeletal Mages are going to be doing a 50% slow. So I guess in that case, we're looking at Bone Spear, kind of a late game range business. Let's see if we can aim this right and get 1 in a single cast across this whole team. Okay, so that would equal 1 per cast. Wow, you could do like weird stuff where you're like kind of dancing and stacking these, and then knowing we're 1 away. Here it is, actually. Okay, Cold Hand of Death. We know we're 1 away, and that we're gonna get that Skeletal Mage. I mean, it's theming. I like it. Mortal Wounds, though, is still in existence. Boy, that's a long time, but it is a 75% less healing. That's a long way to go, with so many 40% reduced healings getting to be around that level 7 mark. And Kalan's Edict. Each time a Skeletal Warrior deals damage, reduce the cooldown of Bone Armor and Xul's heroic ability by 0.5. On paper, I'm assuming that this is a... on Explosion as well. So let's be tactical here. Let's, first of all, get rid of our mages. So he's dealing damage, decreasing my cooldowns. And what I want to know is, does the explosion work to reduce cooldown, but also is the bug giving double stacks? Seem to be the case. Still a cool idea. Just Skeletal Warriors, though, so we're not taking advantage of our Skeletal Mages. I mean, that can go pretty fast. I mean, particularly if we really spec for it with, like, Echoes of Death. Or we're just battling in lanes. If we really drag this thing across as many heroes as possible and all those skeletons are getting going, even if they got destroyed, then they pop and really reduce those cooldowns. And let's see, 3 skeletons all kind of popping at the same time. Yeah, that sends it flying down. Well, I think you should be excited about Xul. I think this is a very cool rework. I hope the bug gets fixed as fast as possible. In the meantime, should you be a good person and not abuse Xul? Maybe. I think he's just such a cool character, and I want to play him in the solo lane that I'll be playing him. But we need to make sure his power is still tame once that's all fixed up. Thanks for watching. I'll see y'all soon.